Hey guys, it's Charlie. I want to talk a little bit about the mainstream media, what they would have you believe, what the Federal Reserve would have you believe, and what's all a buzz out in the masses today. The mainstream media has worked really hard and diligently to convince you that TARP was a good deal. It was a windfall. I've actually seen that word written in print and heard reporters go through the talking points and tell you TARP was a windfall. So, the reality of this is $700 billion TARP was supposed to be. $607 billion of it was allocated. $553 billion of it was lent out. Of the $553 lent out, $220 billion has been repaid. So the American taxpayer is still on the hook for over half. Yet the mainstream wants you to believe that it's a good deal and we should keep doing this kind of thing because crony capitalism is better than free market capitalism. The Federal Reserve, the chairman no less, comes out and says if he wouldn't have acted, things would have been far worse in the 2008 meltdown. Unemployment would have been north of 20%, Great Depression level era. Now, I think he's right on one point, but not on the fact that it would have been far worse for you and I. We'd still be worrying about if we have a job coming next week or tomorrow for that matter. We'd still be worried if we were going to have friends or family affected by foreclosure, affected by bankruptcy, or have to go on welfare or food stamps, or have to be long-term unemployed. All of those things I just mentioned, all of those metrics that can be used to track misery in this country are far, far worse than they were in 2008. But when he says that it would have been worse, he's right. He's right for a few elite folks on Wall Street. These guys were making record bonuses in 2010 to the tune of $144 billion. It would have been far worse for them. It would have been far worse for companies like Citi, Bank of America, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs. They wouldn't have been able to have a record first quarter of 2010 where they went through 63 consecutive days without losing one single dollar during a trading day in their trading divisions. How is this even possible with free market capitalism? These companies cannot lose. They can belly up to the Federal Reserve and get money at zero or near zero, turn around and lend it to the Treasury and get a guaranteed 2 or 3% return, or even just park it at the Federal Reserve and get more return than they would by lending it out to any suckers like you or I. These companies are beyond too big to fail. They can't even fail for a day in the first quarter of this year. But what is the talk in mainstream right now? What is the masses talking about? They're talking about the federal government either extending the Bush tax cut or extending unemployment. And now it looks like they're going to do a compromise where they're going to keep the Bush tax cut in place and extend unemployment for another year or so. So in reality, the mainstream media is working very hard to convince you that the best thing that can happen in Washington is nothing. And that's exactly what we're going to get. The taxes are going to stay the same and the unemployment benefits are going to stay the same. Yet they're going to run around D.C. patting each other on the back as being all bipartisan and working on behalf of the American people, and they've managed to change nothing. And the Federal Reserve will do the exact same thing. They will do nothing except keep the status quo and keep the too big to fail systemic, happy, healthy, and making record profit and record bonuses. Stories are attached. That's all I got.